What is up, everybody? You know who it is. It is your allies behind enemy lines. Ryan and Joey coming at you thoroughly behind enemy lines in Cowboys territory, getting ready for this wildcard weekend. We're in the playoffs, baby. We are hosting a playoff game. Joey, how is it going, man? How are things going with you over in Austin? Oh, I'm holding it down here in Dallas.
That's actually been a pretty good week. I am back to work after the holiday break is over, which might sound like, but for me, it's like we're back virtually working from home, and my kids are back in daycare, so I actually have some room to breathe. So my break is actually work, as it is as strange as that sounds. But if anyone that has two children at home that have been with them probably knows what I'm talking about. So I'm doing pretty good right now. I have a lot more energy usually than I would. So
that's great to hear. That's good to hear. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially for those who don't know, I mean, your kids are really close in age, really young. So I can imagine how, like I said, nice breath of fresh air. But before we get started, some quick housekeeping. Make sure you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts as well as Google Podcasts. Check us out on SoundCloud at Allies Behind Enemy Lines. That's where you can find us as well on Apple and Google. We're here on YouTube at Allies Behind Enemy Lines. Make sure you're subscribed here. Ring that notification bell so as soon as this episode drops, you are updated and notified so you can watch and follow along with all the latest and greatest of this wildcard weekend preview show and everything else going forward. We're on Twitter at AlliesBEL. We like to mix it up, engage all our fans and other people there. And, of course, on Facebook, if you happen to be of the older generation. And on Facebook, find us at Allies Behind Enemy Lines there as well. Now let's get rolling. We have a big game, primetime game, Saturday night. We are taking on Tom Brady, Bruce Arians, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We know all their weapons they got. Mike Evans, we'll see if he's able to go. Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Gronk, got a lot of names. Didn't always translate to big wins or big offensive outputs. But as of late, they have been playing a lot better. And I think it's definitely going to be a tough matchup for us. But something that gets me really excited is the fact that we are playing, we've talked about how mobile quarterbacks have been our kryptonite. Well, if you could find the complete opposite of a mobile quarterback, I think we got one here in Tom Brady. Now, the only issue is he's arguably the best quarterback to ever suit up and step onto a football field. So there's always that. But, if our pass rush is on, I like our chances as long as, we're not giving up short passes and giving up a lot of yards after the catch. But that's one of the matchups, Chase Young, Montez Sweat, obviously all the usual suspects of guys getting after the quarterback. That's what intrigues me and excites me the most. And that I think gives us the best chance to put up a good fight and maybe even steal a victory here.
Still a victory here. And it's funny they're talking about Tom Brady's mobility the other day on Good Morning Football. And then one of the guys said, I would love to see a foot race between Tom Brady and Phillip Rivers, and everybody just started cracking up. And it's true, he's not definitely. It looks like it's almost as painful watching. No jokes or puns intended. It's almost painful to watch Alex Smith run it is to watch Tom Brady run around with the ball. So, but yes, it is a team that is it's peaking at the right moment. It seems like Antonio Brown is back to his his form with his speed, and Tom Brady's going to give him the ball. Mike Evans, you mentioned Chris Godwin, Carlos. And then we have, obviously, Gronkitis, I guess is his new nickname they were talking about around. He's always there. And, Cameron Brate, don't undersell him as well. Not to mention, Scotty Miller and Leonard Fournette. You got LaShawn McCoy. That team is basically what I'm saying is that team has all the weapons in the world. If I was to liken them to any, characters like Rambo. It's like Rambo with all his guns on and everything. This fully equipped Rambo in a military compound. That's how many weapons they have right now. And Tom Brady being the actual Rambo who can use these weapons. So, how do you stop Rambo, is basically what we're asking ourselves right now. And I'll tell you how you do it. And that's you stop him from getting his weapons. You attack just the Rambo. You go after the Rambo. You go after Tom Brady. Don't allow him to utilize these weapons. Don't allow him to get that ball out of his hand cleanly to any of these weapons. And you have a chance. It's going to be like fighting Rambo. We're going to have to, bring every trick play we have in our arsenal. Scratch, kick, pull hair, kick in the nuts if we have to. I don't care. If no one's looking, might as well just give them a swift kick in the nuts, make them know they're awake. But yes, it's going to take an act of everything to get this Washington football team over the hurdle of beating a team that is basically a scoring machine. If you look at their scoring throughout the year, they're putting up, I don't know, probably the top five. I don't know the stats right in front of me. Top five easily in scoring points. Put that against our defense. We are good at stopping that, but we're gonna have to be able to put points up at some point. They're gonna be able to limit that, I do believe, some, but we're gonna have to put points up to be able to contend with them.
Yeah, if we get into a shootout, I think that's going to be a wrap for that's going to be curtains for the old Washington football team. I definitely think if we can jump out to a lead early and maybe control the ball and limit, we don't even have to play fantastic defense. If we can catch a little bit of a lead, 7-3, 10-3, 10-7 kind of lead, and then just kind of keep steady pace from there, and then matriculate the ball a little over, kind of bleed the clock and play bend don't break defense. I think we could be in a good spot. Now, they are prone to making the big play, throwing the ball downfield. Like I said, the Mike Evans factor, we'll see how healthy he is. They said he is going to play, but you don't know at what level he's going to be playing at. He presents a big mismatch for whoever's guarding him, anybody in the NFL. You keep shaking your head. Are you disagreeing with everything I'm saying? Or
I'm just like, all I'm thinking about as you started saying that was, who the hell's going to guard Gronk?
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be, because most of our linebackers are, pass rusher, run stopping linebackers.
And smaller.
Oh, yeah. Well, smaller. I mean, everyone's smaller than Gronk. That's the thing. Mike Evans and Gronk both, it doesn't matter who's defending them. They're going to be physical mismatches, no matter what. And so that's one of the things that really worries me. Are we going to have Kendall Fuller follow him around, or are we going to have Ronald Darby? I don't think is a great option to cover Mike Evans. I mean, it's going to be we got to get to the quarterback. We got to get
exactly. To the quarterback. Then you're leaving Antonio Brown, you're leaving Chris Godwin open, and then if you're pulling a bunch of all your secondaries out there out covering these guys, then you're facing Leonard Fournette. It's one of those things, like you said, where we have to control the line of scrimmage regardless. We have to get pass rushes. We have to get a heated pass rush on him. I mean, Jack Del Rio does not have Tom Brady figured out. I've been seeing stats flown all around this whole week.
And he was like 9-1 against Jack Del Rio or something like that.
1-9, yes, 1-9 against Tom Brady, who has never played a wild card game before, strangely enough. But they've always, that's strange. So, but just looking at all the schematics before we get into the the inner grits of this game. Honestly, our last playoff win was against none other than Tampa Bay back in 2005, if you do recall. And that all those players have retired and it's long gone. I think Sean Taylor was leading that team right there. But we have the rebirth and the rejuvenation of this defense by a young, similar player as that of Chase Young. And it's going to take everything. Him calling out Tom Brady and him and his team feeling like they have to support the words that Chase Young put out there and put on some kind of 85 Bears-esque shutdown performance, because it happened. I forget what game it was. I think it was against the Saints, maybe, where they got blown out. I think they scored 3 points that day. Tom Brady were completely shut down. I forgot what it was, but so it can happen. It didn't happen a lot this year, but it can happen. You get Tom off his game, and he is off his game. So that's what they have to do, and they have to do it early.
Yeah, no, they absolutely. I mean, and we've seen too that if he is dealing with a pass rush that's continuously in his face, like sometimes he does wear down and he gets frustrated, he starts forcing things. So that's our best chance, I think, defensively, is just getting to him because of all those weapons that they have. Like you said, they have been prone to some letdown games. I'm gonna pull up their schedule here because I don't quite remember off the top of my head who their 5 losses were against. But they
Two
did
of them
have
were against
the
Saints. 2 of them were the Saints for sure.
And they were prone to some ugly losses too. They lost 2019 to the Bears in Week 5. That's when the Bears were off to a hot start. Yeah, they did lose 38-3 to the Saints. And then they lost to the Rams and the Chiefs, both 27-24 in both of those games. And you can understand the Chiefs game, but that Rams team, they were kind of having an up and down season as well. So even their losses, except for the lone blowout against the Saints. Then that might have even been against Taysom Hill, if I remember correctly. No, Drew Brees wasn't. He threw for 4 touchdowns. But so they were prone to I can't even say clunkers. They did. I mean, they lost 5 games. It is what it is. So we just have to limit that passing game as best as we can. Like I said, bend don't break. No big plays downfield. We can't give up the big play. You mentioned who's going to guard Gronk. this would be a great time to have Landon Collins back and have him play like that sub, linebacker, that nickel corner, something like that, and put him on Gronk. You know what I mean? He's got decent size. He's got, he's got a decent enough speed to cover Gronk. I think that would have been a good matchup, and still have Cameron Curl and Jeremy Reeves playing safety back there. But I don't know. It's like I said, it's got to be at the line of scrimmage. Maybe Cole Holcomb can do something with Gronk. Yeah, I like his athleticism, but downfield, if you get 10, 20 yards downfield with Gronk, then you usually get into a little bit of trouble. But flipping the ball over and, with us on offense and the Bucs on defense, what are your thoughts going into this game? Do you want to see Alex Smith out there starting, or would you rather see your boy Heineke?
I think Alex Smith, as long as he can go, has to start the game. I think he's the only person that knows. He put it best, I think, in the way he talked before the game with the last game that Haskins started, where you have an obligation to the other people on the field to be able to do your part or carry your share. And he didn't feel like he could do it at that time. And I think this share that he's talking about is uplifted when it comes to something as important as a playoff game. So I truly feel that he is not going to put himself out there if he doesn't feel he can give his team a chance to win. And so if he's ready to go and he feels that he can do that, I want him to start. Obviously, if he's not, I feel comfortable. I feel very comfortable with Heineke to get that start. But either way, I think that we're going to have to run the ball. I think we're going to have to run the ball effectively and a lot. This defense is one of those bend but don't break defenses. Not some people talk about all the pieces they have, but they don't play very well. They give up a lot of points. I think they're their rankings are definitely not in the top 15, probably not even the top 20 overall. But so we definitely can move the ball on these guys, especially having some of their. I think they might even have some key pieces. I think is Shaq Barrett on COVID, and I think they had some injuries going on as far as on that defensive line. So definitely something we can exploit. And the best way you combat somebody like Tom Brady and those weapons also is to keep them off the field. You do that by controlling the clock and running the ball effectively and taking advantage of every opportunity you get with that ball. So as long as they can do that, which Alex Smith, that you're talking about Alex Smith's game right there. That's the kind of game he loves and runs. So if he can do it at full strength and execute that type of game plan, I really like our chances to be the upset guys, which, a lot of people are not calling for it, but people who have called upsets before are calling for it this time. So that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, they're gonna be without their standout linebacker Devin Smith. He's out. JPP.
Devin White.
What's that?
Devin White, isn't it?
Yeah. What'd I say?
Devin Smith.
Oh yeah, I meant Devin White. I'm sorry. Devin White's gonna be out. JPP, he's questionable. One of their starting corners, Carlton Davis, he's going to be out. So they are missing a couple pieces of that defense. But like you said, even when healthy, they are very much bend don't break. You can get to them. You can't beat them in a couple different ways. From what I'm looking right now, Shaq Barrett is he's going to be a go. So, okay. That's the guy we got to look out for. Obviously, in Ndamukong Suh, we got to make sure that he's not stepping on Alex Smith's ankle or stepping on his face or anything like that while he's out there. But Ron Rivera talked about possibly rotating quarterbacks throughout the game. Maybe, starting Alex Smith and then making a call to the bullpen and say, hey, give me the righty and bring in Taylor Heineke. Now, it's very unconventional, but what if we did this, where Taylor Heineke handled everything from 20 to 20, and then Alex Smith handled everything from the red zone in?
Well, I think that statement was put out there for two reasons. First of all, just to let everybody know that Alex Smith is not 100%. You know what I mean? That he's
I think everyone knew that. If you watched a second of the game last week,
but it was like the acknowledgement, his public acknowledgement of that. We see that too. Obviously, we can see that too and acknowledge that. But two, to warm up the idea that he might not start this game, that he might not play this game. I don't see an actual two quarterback system working like that. Where we're going in and out. I see a two quarterback system working where Alex Smith going in and he can't move, and then we bring in Heineke. But I don't see that working. I don't see that. With the way our offense runs, it needs fluidity. It needs repetition. They need that what do you call
cohesion.
cohesion. You need to have momentum. You need to work together and not have that consistency. You need to have consistency. And I think that would be breaking that monotony and that consistency up by switching two different types of quarterbacks out. Not to mention you pass block differently for two types of, a quarterback, that's going to get outside the pocket versus one that's not going to get outside the pocket. So I don't know if I would really lean towards that. I would rather them make a decision one way or the other, because I think that either way we're having a better chance to be effective on offense.
Yeah, no. I agree to some sense. I think I'm a big, not believer, but like I want to see a 2 quarterback system one day where like what I said, like, you have a quarterback that handles everything, maybe from end zone to the 20, and then you have maybe a mobile quarterback. Like when we had RG3 and Kirk Cousins, that would have been the perfect scenario for a 2 quarterback system where you literally have a guy to handle the red zone, which I think could have been RG3 because of his legs, and then Kirk Cousins, who is a little bit more of an accurate passer. But, something like that, like I want to see that happen. I think it could work in the NFL with the right coach, with the right system in place. I think that could work. But right now is not the time to try that in a wild card game after you made the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. But yeah, I was just, wondering what your thoughts were on him saying he might have to rotate guys out. But I think that more so that saying, yeah, Alex Smith is not 100%, but it's like, yeah, he may start this game, but there's a very good likelihood that he won't finish it, or I won't think twice of making him go back out there if he can't finish it. So, and both you and I and kind of the consensus around the Washington football team fan base is that, we feel confident with Taylor Heinicke in there. From what we saw against Carolina, he gave us enough. Not only the fans, but Ron Rivera said that guys in the locker room believe in him, and that's huge. We saw that in the Eagles game when Sudfeld went in there, like everyone was just like, fuck this guy, he stinks, and they just kind of, it took everyone down. That's a different situation, but still, when you have a backup quarterback coming in and he can't complete a pass, it really brings down the morale. But because he played so well, because Chase Young was like, man, this is my dude, I like that guy. Taylor Heinicke showed a little bit of swag by saying, hey, this is what I do, baby. That instills a little more confidence in the team all around. Obviously the coaching staff, but if the coaching staff feels like the other guys are confident in him, then that boosts their confidence in a guy as well. Yeah, like I said, the controlling the line of scrimmage, I hope Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, Brandon Scherf, and Alex Smith are all questionable as of right now, as of recording. The census is that all 4 of them will play. But so that's just kind of the situation we're monitoring right now. I know at practice, Gibson and McLaurin were on the exercise bikes, and not really getting a whole lot of reps on the field. That more so could have just been keeping the legs fresh, but not trying to wear anything out. They think the Terry McLaurin ankle injury could be pretty significant, but if he can go out there and play, then play on, playa. Do you have anything on this game left over before we kind of wrap up or transition into the next topic I got for you?
I mean, it's a lot of what we said, I think, leading up to the last game, is we just wanted to win the division championship. We were happy with this season before that, actually. We talked about, the pillars of being accepted into our culture. And sheesh, Ron Rivera, what he's done this year, and, beating the Cowboys twice, sweeping the Eagles twice, winning the division. I mean, what more could you ask for in a year? And changing the culture of this. This is a different team. It's a different team. It's the feel when you watch them is different. Obviously, we want our offensive side of the ball to we need a quarterback. We need a steady, consistent quarterback. But this is a different team, and I think a lot of hope for the future for this franchise. And it's not riding on this game is among us all. I think we all feel good. I don't think any of us are going to be going into this game, the way we were going into that Eagles game where it's like a make or break feeling with us. I think a lot of us are really happy with what we've done. But I do know that the Washington football team does not feel that way. And I do know that these guys want more. And I do know these guys are, you have to know how and I'm saying that from our fans' perspective of people who 110% believe in these guys. And so if they know that that's not even someone like us can kind of feel that way about them, like, oh, you guys have done great, we're not going to be mad if you don't win, kind of thing. They know that that's basically telling them that no one expects them to win. Nobody expects them to go out there and get this victory. So that's got the competitive nature. I know me and myself, when everyone thinks that I don't have a chance, or someone down at associate doesn't have a chance, that just fuels me even more. And I know that those guys all at that level have that already. So they're going to be getting up for this game like no other. If you're going to think you're going to go out there and see a flat defense, you are sadly mistaken. And I'm sadly mistaken if Tampa Bay is looking ahead to Green Bay next week and thinking of how they're going to be playing in cold weather, because Chase Young and that defense is coming for you. And they're going to hit you in the mouth. It's just going to be like, I used to tell people when I was younger, and I still say it. I don't care if you lose a fight. Just give them one good punch in the face, and you get that victory. It's not about winning the fight. It's about getting that one good lick and saying, let them know where you stand. That's what this team is going to go out there and do. They're going to let them know where this Washington football team stands. And on the offensive side of the ball, we got a fragile quarterback. We have the most wonderful comeback story that we'll probably ever see in our lifetimes. And he's going to go out there, and he knows the same thing. We don't expect much from him, but he's going to get every ounce of him and more is going to come out when he plays, if and when he plays that game on Saturday. So don't think this team is just happy with coming this far, and don't be surprised when they shock the world.
Wow. All right. Well, I mean, I'm ready to run through a wall after that. I mean, that was, yeah. I mean, I literally was just going to say that I myself am just happy that we got here. Like, as far as a fan, I know for a fact, like you said, everybody, all 53 guys on that roster, they got one thing in mind, and that's beating this Tampa Bay team, beating whoever they got in front of them, and, making a steady run. Obviously, one game at a time, but it's like you're right. They're not content with just this getting here, right? So. Yeah, no, I know Chase Young is going to come out hungry. I know Jonathan Allen. I know that defense is going to come out hungry. This could possibly be, one of the better games we see this defense play, just from a pure hunger fact, like you said, and not being complacent and showing that, hey, we may have been 7-9, but we do belong here. We are, a better team with Alex Smith back there. We're a better team than that 1-5 team that we were, at the beginning of the season. So, I do expect to see us come out and play with a different edge than we have seen before. But I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. Real quick, as we transition off, one quick thing. We're getting 8.5 points, so we're a home underdog. There's only ever been 2 home underdogs in the history of the playoffs in the NFL, and they are both 2-0 outright winners. It was the New Orleans Saints Beastquake the Seattle Seahawks Beastquake when they were 7-9 and beat the Saints on that Marshawn Lynch run that literally set off seismic waves across Seattle. And then, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on the last one. Do you remember who the other one was?
Was it the other 7-9 Carolina team? The Ron Rivera team?
Yes, yeah, the Ron Rivera team. The Ron Rivera team. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Yes, very good. I was to talk about the Beastquake and it totally slipped my mind. Yes. But do you have something to follow up on that?
Well, just that, yeah. Ron Rivera's done it before. He knows how it goes to fill in there and think that you're the not the laughing stock, but the losing record team. I don't think that he's not paying attention to that. You pay attention to the growth of your team, and just like Bruce Arians said, we know we're not playing this one, this Don Haskins, the Bear.
shout out UTEP.
Dwayne. We're not playing the Don Haskins and Tim Hardaway UTEP Miners from 1992. We're not playing Dwayne Haskins and this incompetent led team. We're playing a team led by a very competent guy on offense and a very hungry young guy on defense. So you best hold on and see what's going to go on. So I would not be surprised if this team comes out and shows the world what me and you have believed all along.
Yeah, absolutely. I cannot wait. Well, I know we got to wrap up here. One quick thing that I want to see how you feel about it. I know how I feel. Deshaun Watson, what would you give up for him right now?
Definitely our first next year, and possibly the first the following year.
So 2022 and 2023, or the first this year in 2022?
The next 2 years. Yeah, this year's draft and next year's draft, and you're gonna have to give a round. I mean, I'd rather give that than a player. Yeah, I'd give a third. I'd give 2 firsts and a third for him easily.
Yeah,
you're talking about a small window and getting your quarterback, which you would love to get in this draft, and then you're talking about the next year's first round pick, seeing the growth in your team. It's going to be a late round pick anyway. It's going to be almost a second round pick anyways. You're basically going to get, if things go right, your guy for what you wouldn't have gotten.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. Yeah, I think 2 firsts and like you said, another player, another draft pick would be great. I don't know what player would really have value there.
Someone's going to want a defender. And I know some people are going to say Landon Collins, but no one's going to want that contract.
Maybe Bill O'Brien is still there, but No, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're talking Ionitis. I hate
That's
to
what
say
I
it,
was
but
thinking. That's what I almost said too. Oh man, I don't know. That's what I was thinking too. Shit. So yeah, we're on the
that's
same.
the type of player. That's the type of someone
Yeah.
with a small contract who's a beast. You know, at the
Yeah.
time, like Kendall Fuller. You know, like Kendall Fuller back then.
Yeah, damn. That's See, I'm glad we're on the same page. That's exactly who I was thinking too. I don't know if I want to give up Ionitis though. I mean, he gives us such depth.
I mean, then you're talking about Deron Payne or Jonathan Allen.
Yeah,
Who,
I know.
you know, or I mean, it's not going to be anybody else. Maybe, you know, you're talking about Cameron Curl. You're talking about someone from the defense, obviously, and I don't know, man. It's just that's why I'm saying a draft pick. Take a third. Take it on someone we don't know. I'd rather miss the girlfriend I never met.
Yeah, true. Maybe I mean, as much as it pains me to say, maybe we could throw Ryan Kerrigan in there just to kind of sweeten the deal.
And then they'll say, well, we're trying to get rid of T.J. Watt over here. We don't want any old pass rushers. Say the ghost of pass rushers pass.
Right.
I mean, J.J. Watt, not T.J. J.J.
Yeah,
Watt.
JJ. Yeah. But all right. So that's all we got. That's all I got.
I have one last thing. One last thing I want to say. This is totally off. This is not even Washington, but it's just an amazing fact. It made me laugh so hard this morning. I thought I would share. And I was watching Good Morning Football, and they were talking about the playoffs, you know, whatnot. And the Seahawks came up, and Tyler Lockett came up. I don't know if you've heard this before, but then all of nowhere, Nate Burleson just sits there and says, Tyler Lockett's a virgin. Did you know that? He's like, yeah, he's saving himself for marriage. So who knows? Maybe that's what, you know, the secret is to to being so good is to hold off on some urges. That's a wild little nugget. I think I dropped in there. I thought I'd share with you and our listeners there that who might not have known that, but.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Thanks. Shout out Nate Burleson. Appreciate that. The little fun fact for the day.
Oh man! But you know what we're gonna be doing on Monday? This is not our last show, guys, because you know what's gonna happen on Monday. We're gonna have the biggest one we've ever freaking blown. The biggest one we've ever freaking blown is gonna be on Monday, and we're gonna blow that sucker like it's never been blown before. And it's gonna be the sounds will be heard through all the echoes. The birds will be joining in with the sound of this wonderful blowing going on. And so it's going to happen, guys. I cannot wait to share it with you.
We will be blowing that victory trombone, that's for sure. So I'm juiced for it. I'm ready for it. Prime time. I can't wait. But as always, like I said, while we wrap up, make sure you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Check us out on SoundCloud at Allies Behind Enemy Lines, on Twitter at AlliesBEL. Here on YouTube, you should be here already. Subscribed and have that notification bell rung. And over on Facebook, like I said, at Allies Behind Enemy Lines podcast there as well. So until Monday, we will see you guys then, ready for this victory against old man Tom. I want Tom Brady. I'm coming for Tom Brady. Let's go, baby. We will see you guys on Monday. Take care. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.